Hey everyone, welcome back to Cracking the GRE Math Subject Test. This is Calculus 1. We're on question number 46. This question is actually really similar to one of the previous questions. We're asked to find, in this case, the smallest positive integer x for which this power series does not converge. So the trick here is to use the ratio test to find when it does and does not converge. And so I'll just remind you that the ratio test, in order to use it, you have to take the limit as n goes to infinity of the absolute value of the n plus 1th term divided by the nth term. And if this is less than 1, then the series converges. So you have to make sure that that ratio, the limit of the ratio is less than 1. So let's write what this ratio is here. So we're going to have the limit as n goes to infinity of n plus 1 factorial times 2 times n plus 1, I'm just going to write that out, 2n plus 2 factorial times x to the n plus 1 divided by 3 times n plus 1, that's going to be 3n plus 3 factorial. And we're going to divide that by the nth term, which is exactly what's written in the problem. Remember, dividing by a fraction is multiplying by its reciprocal, so we're going to get 3n factorial in the numerator, and in the denominator we're going to have n factorial and 2n factorial and x to the n. Well, let's simplify this. The n plus 1 factorial and the n factorial cancel out except for one term, which is n plus 1. The 2n plus 2 factorial and the 2n factorial cancel out except for a term which is 2n plus 1 and 2n plus 2. The x to the n and the x to the n plus 1 cancel out and leave us with x. And then in the denominator, the 3n factorial and the 3n plus 3 factorial are going to cancel out except for a 3n plus 1, a 3n plus 2, and a 3n plus 3. Okay, now we have a polynomial divided by polynomial, so when we take the limit as n goes to infinity, we just have to look at the leading terms, and their coefficients are going to tell us what the limit is. So in this case, we have an n, a 2n, and a 2n, so that's going to be like a 4n cubed plus some other stuff, and a 3n, 3n, and 3n, so that's going to be like a 27n cubed plus some other stuff, and all of this is going to be multiplied by x. Well, if we look at the leading coefficients, that's a 4 and a 27, that's going to be the limit. So the limit, as n goes to infinity, is going to be 4 over 27x. And remember that we want this to be less than 1. That means that x has to be less than 27 over 4, or, what's 27 over 4? That's 6 3/4. Well, the smallest positive integer that's greater than 6 3/4, in other words, the smallest positive integer for which the series will not converge, is going to be 7, C.